It took almost 8 months to get both sides to this peace conference, both the Syrian government and representatives of the Syrian opposition in the same room, along with representatives from 40 nations. UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon laid out the aim of this process.
A transitional governing body with the full executive powers formed by mutual consent, including over the military forces and security and intelligence services.
Getting there, though, will be hard. Just chairing this opening session was a challenge for Ban Ki-moon. The Syrian Foreign Minister Walid Muallem's speech overran, and the UN Secretary-General tried to stop him.
Mr. Deputy Prime Minister, I'm sorry to... can you just wrap up? Because you have spoken only 20 minutes.
Yourself, you live in New York, I live in Syria. I have the right to give the Syrian version here in this forum.
In his speech, Mr. Muallem seemed to add new complications to this process. He said if talks go to a second stage, it should be held on Syrian soil. And he said any deal done in Switzerland should be put to a referendum in Syria, a country where no vote has been properly free or fair for more than 4 decades.
No one, Mr. Kerry, in the world has the right to give legitimacy or to withdraw legitimacy from a president, a government, a constitution or a law or anything in Syria but Syrians.
As both anti-government and pro-Assad camps chanted and yelled at each other outside the hall, the Syrian opposition leader said he was fully committed to the UN-led process, but he expressed doubts about the sincerity of the Syrian government.
We want to make sure we have a Syrian partner in this room who will be ready to go from a Bashar al-Assad delegation to a free delegation like us.
The Russian foreign minister stressed a solution should not be imposed by foreign powers. The most contentious issue of all is the future role of the Assad family in Syria. On that, the US maintains the Geneva Agreement of 2012, which is supposed to be the basis for these talks, is quite clear.
And the only thing standing in its way is the stubborn clinging to power of one man, one family.
Even in the press centre, where the world's journalists were covering the conference, the animosity between supporters of the Syrian government and the opposition was evident.
Come to Syria and visit us.
To the Syrian children who are dying of starvation.
Come to Syria and you'll see.
Are you from Syria?
You don't look like from Syria. If you're Syrian, you fight with Syria.
What's absolutely clear here is the divide between the two Syrian delegations. These talks are now going to move to the other side of this lake, to Geneva, on Friday. Around the table, negotiations chaired by the veteran diplomat Lakhdar Brahimi. He's the man who headed peace talks in Afghanistan and Lebanon, but observers here believe this is going to be the most difficult challenge of his long career. James Bays, Al Jazeera, Montreux in Switzerland.